2023 corn harvest, at least for picking, that is, picking dry corn. This is part number 2 of a video we started that was getting kind of long, so if you haven't watched that, make sure to go out and check out part number 1. It was the first half of the day where we got things rolling and got the picker in the field. We've already unloaded 2 loads and everything's going smooth so far. Fingers crossed that mechanically we have a solid and safe day. Dad's down in the field right now with the 686 International with the new idea corn picker, the mounted 2-row corn picker. If it's your first time visiting our channel, we encourage you to subscribe. That way you can stay up to date on what we're doing, and it's free. We also ask if you enjoy it, make sure to like it and share it. It helps us out a lot. But we'll keep plugging away here and have a good harvest. As you can see, compared to my first load, I got a lot less cobs on the ground. I still can slow it down a little. Got away from me a little in the chute, but a lot more efficient there compared to load number 1. Cut me some slack. It's been a year since I've done this. field. This is one of the smaller strips we have on the other side of our creek on our main bottoms. And this is gonna be a little bit slower going. It's had some pretty significant weed pressure. It's really pretty. There's morning glories that vine up on it. It's a viney weed. I believe it's morning glories is what they're called. It's a very beautiful flower. And it looks really, really pretty, but it's starting to really take over the edge of this field. It used to be on the far end, and now it's made its way all the way down here. The reason we have it in this field is because of my mother's flower gardens. She was cleaning them out down here by our signs and mailbox and all that, and those flower beds down here. And of course, where do you throw all that stuff? You just throw it in the field. It gets worked in, it's fertilizer, and it really loves corn. It really loves climbing on corn, especially the outer rows where it's got plenty of sunlight. It really loves that stuff. So I could see that causing a couple more issues down and back, but to my knowledge, it's mainly just the outside of the field, so it shouldn't be too bad. And that's the only field with that so far on the farm. One of these years we should just hit it really hard with some kind of herbicide other than what we do with the rest of the farm to try to tackle that. Or we should try chopping that if it wasn't such a small, crooked little field. I've heard where some of the organic guys have tried running a trumpet bean type plant to up their protein, and maybe this could act as that. You can even see it on his husking bed here, how it's starting to wrap up. He's signaling he wants me to take the weighing into the other end, so we'll have to hook back up here and drive to the other end of the field. You can even see here looking at the ground how it's favoring these outside rows. You got a lot there on the outside where we chopped, and then another 2 in, and then row 5 and 6 is where it starts to fade out. So it definitely favors that extra sunlight on the edge of the field, yet having a corn stalk to crawl up. Beautiful yet crazy, extravagant yet deadly. I'm sure some of you guys searching for love can relate to that. Some of you playing that game right now. This is load number 5, I believe. So we'll head up there, keep unloading. We're about halfway up in the crib here. Things are really moving along. I wanted to remind you guys along different colors: red, blue, green, black, and white. Great. They're adjustable hats. One size fits all. Great for going out, great for farming, work. A good all-around hat. So if you want to support us in more ways than just watching the video, or if you just want a cool hat, go check us out at GierokFarms.com. Mason's in the mix now, so that should help. I am going to grab the skid steer and start cleaning up some of that loose grain under the elevator. So as long as everything keeps running smooth equipment wise, now we got an extra guy in the mix, so that should help a lot. Prior, we've put the skid steer right under the conveyor there, right under that grate where all that corn falls through, all that shelled corn. With the breeze and everything, and being we got plenty of people here, I'm just going to keep it up out of the way by the sheds here so that I don't get all of them silks from the corn, all that brown hair looking stuff, so I don't get all that dust and the silks in the cab. Keep the skid steer cab a little cleaner. Being we got the door off and the windows out. Mason's down there switching loads out. The picker hasn't stopped moving. I'm gonna clean up a little more around the conveyor, and then by that time Mason will be back and we'll be unloading load number 6. Okay, I've been cleaning up around the elevator, and I'm gonna do a once over on the crib. Years prior, I had one time where I forgot to hook these steel pieces across the door here on the crib. And as the crib was filling up, these boards started to fall out. And I was like, what the heck? And then come to find out, didn't put these in or on. And the crib was starting to kind of blow out. It was starting to push out. But thankfully there was enough room yet where we were able to drill a new hole and then just put it in there. So we added a little capacity that year, a couple extra bushel. Could have been a bad situation. Happily we caught it, and now I will never forget not to do that. Dad said this morning the crib was ready to go. He had them both put together. Still ain't a bad idea to, now that we got our half full, do a walk around, make sure everything's holding together and working like it should, especially being we got a little time here now that Mason's in the rotation. This corn is definitely dry enough for picking. It's sliding out of the box, but it's not shelling quite as bad as this field that they started on last week right next to the yard here. We may have mentioned it in videos prior, but for picking you want to be more around that 20%. If it's sliding out of the gravity box real nice and flowing nice through everything, it's probably dry enough. And if we're getting a little shelling on the cob, that's another sign that it's probably dry enough. With the crib and being on the cob, you can get away with the corn being a little wetter versus someone putting it in a bin. There's a lot more air flowing through this. There's a lot more gaps in between the kernels and the cob. It works out a bit more in our favor when it comes to having a little wetter corn. We don't have to put it through a dryer or anything. Here's Mason with the next load. Mason just got back with the four-wheeler. He opened up our electric fence going to our other small cornfield on the back side of our creek. We have to pass through our dry cow pasture to get there. Heck, we'll probably be moving the conveyor by later today. Sounds like we got a brake sticking on the Oliver. Had to mess around with it twice already coming down here. We're headed to the other end of the strip. We're gonna take apart the fence so Dad can drive through it over here. Feel like a grain cart driver going through the field here. While we're crawling to the other end, Mason has a story to tell you guys. He was looking for his deer this morning. You want to tell him a little bit about what happened last night?
Well, right before dark, the buck came out. I must have hit him in the front right shoulder. Only got about 5 inches of penetration through it. Sounded like a big pop. So it wasn't the best shot. Started finding blood, good amount of blood, good dark colored blood too. Tracked him for about a good mile and a half. About, I don't know, he ran like in 3 circles, few loop-de-loops. It was all over the place. And then he was bedded down, accidentally bumped him last night, figured we'd let him sit till the morning. Started looking in the morning, found more blood, and then just nothing. Couldn't find anything. Even had a dog out there looking for him.
And this was bow hunting. For you guys, if you haven't caught the drift, it isn't gun season yet here in Wisconsin. So how far do you think he was?
Probably 35 yards maybe.
And that was with a crossbow?
Yeah. It was a little bit darker though. Still shooting light.
And people are gonna ask, what kind of crossbow you got? What kind of broadhead you using? Because you know some of these guys are gonna want to know.
3 broadheads that open up. Expandable ones.
Some mechanical ones. Well, that's a bummer, but there's your update on that. Who knows, we might end up finding his carcass sooner or later, because the way he went, he'd have to cross a heck of a valley to get to the other side. You know, when it comes to, if he was gonna stay within the woods, within the cover, he's probably not gonna go too far from our property.
I don't know, he looked head to toe in all the woods, couldn't find anything.
Who knows, he might end up turning up. We might find him while we're driving woods during gun hunting or something. Or he might survive it, and we might get another shot at him here during gun hunting or something. gonna start unloading that next load. I'm gonna grab some tools, try to adjust the brake on the Oliver. I gotta grab a bolt. One of our chains on our gravity wagon came undone, so I'm gonna put a bolt through it to connect them back together and keep that tied down, especially because after we get done down there on the bottom on that little strip, then we're starting to go up onto some slope again. Nothing crazy. It's one of our nicer hillsides. We'd hate to have a box tip over. We had that happen maybe 6-7 years ago, coming around a corner on a steep hillside where the chains broke or they were off kind of like this, and then it just tipped and went, and you know, thankfully didn't break the pole or anything. It just flopped right off the running gear and we had a mess to clean up. And everybody was okay and safe, but we obviously don't want that to happen again. So when you see stuff like that, we're gonna take care of it right away. Maybe one of these guys would probably make sense. I grabbed a 3/4 straight wrench and a 3/4 ratcheting wrench to take care of that chain, bolt that together. And then I grabbed some bigger wrenches because I can't remember what size that adjustment is on that Oliver for the brake. The rest of the box looks good. Now we'll mess with this Oliver here. Keep an eye on these girls, being we got the fence opened up. Looks like they came down to get some water. That Oliver will have to take that stuff apart and try to, I'm guessing, try to lube up that shaft where those two discs sit on. I think that's what's going on in there. Hopefully that's what's going on. Being me and Mason both know about it, we'll just not use that side. Only use the brake if we're in a bad spot or something where we need it. Because it'll kick on, it just won't let go when you want it to. It won't spring back open. Hopefully that's all it is. Hopefully it just needs some lubrication in there. Being I'm waiting, now is a perfect time to let you guys know again that we are now selling our hats. We're selling Gierok Farm hats. These hats you may have seen us wearing for over the past year here now on YouTube. It's got our beautiful logo on it that my wife drew. We're selling these hats in multiple different colors. We're selling them in red, blue, green, white, and black. If you want to check it out, go to gierokfarms.com. That's Gierok farms.com. I'll throw that up on the screen and down in the description. We will be packing orders ourselves. My wife and I will be taking care of that and sending them out to you guys so know that your order is getting handled by one of us. So if you want to support us in more ways than just watching the videos, which we already greatly appreciate, check out our store and maybe get yourself a hat, especially with Christmas right around the corner here. I'll have that in the description. Click on the link, send you right there. Super simple, super easy. Gierokfarms.com. Mason's making another round, getting another full load. We probably will only fit maybe one more load in this crib. So I'm gonna take advantage of being up here now, and I'm gonna clean up around the conveyor some. Hopefully we get this conveyor moved and get on to the next crib, get some loads in there before it gets dark. We got a couple hours of sunlight here yet. Done now here on the flats, and he is moving on to our hillside. So things are really clipping along. Mason, he's headed back with another full load. I am going to run around and close up all these fences that we had to open in order to do this strip here behind the creek. Keep clipping along. Okay, I got the electric fence put back together. I'm gonna run up there and turn it on. The crib has got to be just about full here, so we'll be moving the conveyor here shortly. I'm gonna go see if Owen's still around, get an extra set of hands, help move that conveyor and kind of clean up around the crib. Picker, break.